everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We are back over here in the cabin today. The wind is blowing like 25 miles an hour and it's cloudy and threatening to rain. And if I sit out on the porch, then you can't hear anything. So I decided, and there's probably going to be an echo in this. So I'm hoping it's not too bad. But one thing I wanted to talk about today is you can't just live simple anymore. The days of living simple are all but gone. Wanda and I try our best to live just as simple as possible. We try not to buy anything from the grocery store we just absolutely do not have to have. No vegetables or anything like that. Like we talked before, we may buy some salt or some oatmeal or flour or something like that. Stuff we just can't make or we can't grow. But it's so difficult now to just live a simple life. We sit down yesterday, we've been working on our income taxes, and used to, now when I run a company, it was completely different. I had a CPA, took care of everything for me. I didn't have to worry about anything, but now that we do YouTube, guys, I'm almost back where I was when I was running a company. There's just so much you have to do to be able to file taxes. If you don't have, it's mandatory now that you have some kind of medical insurance. It's mandatory that you have vehicle insurance. There's so many mandatory things. There was a thing here, it's been several years ago now, they wanted to make it mandatory that we had to have homeowners insurance. And boy, we fought that one like crazy. Everyone. But the point is, it's impossible to live a simple life anymore. Used to, you could go out and you didn't have to worry about it. You had a piece of property, you could buy it. Land wasn't that expensive. Even in my life, it ranged from $200 to $700 an acre for a long time. And we could buy it, and you could build whatever you wanted. Even if it wasn't finished, you could move your family into it and live in it. Like my cabin here, we could move into this, and we could live in this and finish it as we got money, so that when we got it finished, it was paid for. And there's places in the country that you can still do that. Don't get me wrong. But where I live at now, Hurricane Katrina changed all that. Because they had to have money to rebuild everything, so they signed up and put the 6 coastal counties under international code, which meant that we really accepted Agenda 21, if you want to be honest about it. And now, you cannot move into a residence and live in it until you get an occupancy permit from the code office. And not to mention all the inspections that you have to have done to that prior to that. Now, I'm not trying to say that all codes are bad. Now, if we live in a hurricane zone, there are some things that I do believe are good things, like hurricane straps and the wind-rated sheeting like I have on the outside of it here. Things like that, I think is good things that should be just common sense. They shouldn't be made to be put on a building. You should just have sense enough to put them in there. Like the big picture window here in front of me is a wind-rated window. Some things are just common sense, guys. But yet, so many people go out there and they just try to move into and I know, and I'm not downing people for doing this because I've had to live in some pretty horrid conditions sometimes because of income. But I do understand some of the code points, but at the same time, it irritates me to no end because I know of the loss of freedom that we have because of it. And I don't know if there is a good answer or not. I think that when we live simple, things were better. If a house got tore up by a storm, I remember Hurricane Camille, Hurricane Elena come through here, tore up everything. I mean, you know, Hurricane George came in, Hurricane Katrina, all these different hurricanes. I've lived through them all. I've stayed through them all. And people just rebuilt. I mean, if you didn't have insurance, you just did the best you could do. You lived in a tent, you lived in a travel trailer, you did what you had to do so you could get something else built. But now, because of all the codes and everything like that, you can't just do those things anymore. So life is not as simple as it used to be. Used to, you went to the grocery store, and I know y'all will remember this, when you went to the store, you predominantly went for bread, flour, milk, maybe some cheese. Those are some of the 4 things, sugar. Those are some of the things right there that were called staples. Flour, you know, things like that. You went in there to get those things and you came out, and those were staple items. Now when people go to the grocery store, they come out with a buggy full of only God knows what all's in all that stuff. I mean, I don't even know. We don't do it, but I see people at the grocery store coming out with, I actually see some people with one buggy in front of them pulling another one behind them, rounded up. And I'm not condemning that. It could be that they only shop once a month. We used to do that with my mama and my brother who's paralyzed. I would take my mother shopping, me and Wanda, and we would buy for my brother, my mother, and us. And we would have 3 or 4 buggies full. And I understand there's people who do that. But some of these people, I see them week after week in these stores when we go back. Sometimes we have to run into Walmart to get shipping stuff to be able to mail out our Etsy stuff. And I'll see these same people that was just in there last week and their buggies rounded up again. You know, and it's just, the simplicity of life is gone. Me and my neighbor, if he watches this video, he'll know he'll know he's the one I'm talking about. We were talking about how we used to be tethered to the wall with a phone. Used to, when the phone rang, you ran over to the wall and you grabbed it and you picked it up and it had a cord hooked into the wall. And the phone was hooked to the wall and you were kind of bound right there in that little space to talk to them until the conversation was over. You weren't running around, you weren't driving down the road. You know, you were bound right there. And you know what? We were okay with that. Because it's the way it was. But now, oh Lord, no. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, somebody's got a phone holding in their hand. They're texting. Everybody's got a phone stuck to their ear. They're talking. And you'll see brain cancer coming up here before long in this country, I'm pretty sure. But I'm telling you, we can't live without the phone. Now, me personally, I don't own a phone. I haven't had a phone in probably 5 years now. I guess sometimes it would be good for me to have one. Wanda has one, but I don't have one. And she has it for our YouTube channel. She does a lot of videoing on it and stuff like that. If we have to go somewhere, she has it in case something happens, or her kids, or whatever. But I myself don't have a phone. I really don't want one. I'm trying to learn to live without the phone. But it's what I'm talking about, how simple life used to be. Me and my neighbor were talking about this, about the simplicity, how simple things just used to be. I used to come home from work. I had time to, when I would come in, I would set my lunchbox down. I would walk through the house, say hey to my wife and kids, go pick up my bow or my gun, depending on what season it was, and I would go hunting in the evenings and try to kill a deer or two a year. Sometimes I killed up to 9 deer a year, so we have plenty of meat to last in the freezers. And then there were times in the summer when I come home, I would set my stuff down, I would go out, I would hook up to my boat trailer, and I'd take my boat and I'd go to a lake, and I would fish until up in the night, and I'd come home. I mean, there's times I I remember one summer I had over 300 bass filleted in my freezer that was over 3 pounds a piece because I love to bass fish. Even though I ran a job, I had time for this. Now, technically, quote unquote, Wanda and I, if you talk to people, we don't have a job. We do YouTube, and it takes about 10 hours a day to do YouTube or more. And we make probably a quarter of what people who work on other jobs make. And yet people say, you don't have a job. And the thing about it is, we have less time to do anything that we used to do. Now that's kind of strange. When I ran a company, worked a crew of men, built houses, I had more time in the evening when I come home than I do doing YouTube. Now that was what was shocking to Wanda and I. When we sit down and we actually talked about this, we talked about the amount of time that it takes to make a video every day. By the time we buy the equipment, by the time we all the cards and the external hard drives and the computers and the cameras and the stands and the editing programs, and then shooting the videos, and then taking them in and spending hours editing, and then there's rendering time for videos, and there's upload times for videos, and then there's the simple fact that we have to buy the internet and pay for that. Guys, it is a job. It's not as simple as it looks like it is. But you know what? It's what we choose to do because we love doing it. We love the interaction with you guys because it's our way of putting out things that we're working on that may help somebody who's never done this before. That's the beauty of it all. That's why we do this. We talked about before in one of my videos, I talked about why I do this. I mean, one is to leave a legacy for my kids, and the other is to teach and to help people. The younger age that's coming up, there was a generation gap there where people have lost a lot of farming knowledge and homesteading knowledge and things like that. And those of us like me who's lived it their entire life, it would be foolish for me to just say, you know what, I'm going to hoard this information up for myself and I'm never telling anybody. That would be selfish. And I'm not that kind of person. I would rather, if I've had a failure at something out here growing, and I figured out a way to make it easier and make it work, and I can tell you about it, and you don't have to have that failure, then that's what this is all about. Is to make life simple for as many people as we can, and to help people, I guess you might want to say, kind of help people realize that, that this lifestyle is not all that bad. Now, it's not easy, but it's not bad. Yeah, I don't have to get up in the morning, and I don't have to jump in the truck and take off down the road and fight the rat race of people. I don't have to deal with the public on a daily basis, although I do deal with the public on YouTube, on comments and stuff like that, because we get a lot of horrible comments. We're always deleting stuff constantly because of just rude people. But that's okay. I mean, we're like kind of like getting like a duck now. You know, water just rolls off our back, and it's kind of getting to be that way. But the simplicity of life, just getting up in the morning, I can remember this. Getting up in the morning, making a cup of coffee, going and sitting out on the porch, watching the sun come up, eating breakfast outside on a little coffee table or whatever, and watching the sun come up, feeling and listening to the birds beginning to chirp, and things like this used to be the way it was. Now I get up in the morning, I go out to get a cup of coffee, all I hear is stupid, obnoxious dogs barking at the top of their lungs. Just vehicles running up and down the highway everywhere. You know, there's so much noise that the simplicity of life is just gone. It doesn't even, I don't know if it even exists anywhere anymore. I'm sure there's places back off up in the hills or the mountains, or maybe if you own a large enough piece of property, you know, a couple hundred acres or something, you can get deep enough into it that you don't have to listen to a lot of things going on. But those of us who just have small pieces of property, you know, 1 to 10 acres or 15 acres or whatever, 20 acres, it's pretty much impossible to escape to quietness. And the fact that Wanda and I tried to, here the other day, we tried to sit on our deck and just enjoy an afternoon. And there was so much noise going on around us that we looked at each other and said, you know what? We might as well just go back in the house. At least it's quieter. And watch a YouTube video or something. You know, and it's sad that it's become that way. We go to town, and we've just about picked the times in town when people come alive. We usually try to leave here and go to town and be home before 9 or 9:30. Have all of our running done around no later than 10 o'clock. Because we've learned in our small town, by 10 o'clock, it's like an ant dead. There's just people everywhere, cars are everywhere. I mean, it takes you 10 minutes to get out in the road somewhere. People's honking their horns, and I mean, it's just in a small little town like we live in. You go to Walmart, you can't find a parking spot within 50 yards of the front door. You got to walk halfway across like a football field just to be able to get in the store. So, yeah, the simplicity of times is gradually fading away, people. Everything now is complicated. Artificial intelligence, geoengineering, fracking. I mean, just think of it. Industry, progress, whatever you want to call it, everything is just blowing up, and it's like we're just being gradually just enclosed on like this until there's nowhere to go. You know, and a lot of the elites are using the term, oh, there's just too many people on the face of the earth. I don't know that there's too many people on the face of the earth. I think that if we just went back to living a plain, simple life, I think that a lot of things would probably take care of themselves. But no, we've got to have the latest phone that comes out. We've got to have the latest gadgets, the newest this, the biggest trucks, the fanciest cars. You know, we've got to have the best of everything as it comes out. We can't just be satisfied anymore. I think that the instant gratification that we have to have in the world that we live in today is really, it's messed our kids up, I know that. Most of them are so deep in debt from school loans, time they get ready to buy a home, buy vehicles, buy kids, have kids, pay for insurances and stuff like this. They're so deep in debt till they'll never know what it is to live a simple life. Remember when you used to go to your grandma and grandpa's house and you could sit on the porch, or you went in, grandma always had something cooked on the stove, or it just seemed like there was time to do anything. That doesn't exist anymore. Now, it might in a few places, and it might with a few families, and the ones who can do it, I will take my hat off to you, because you have figured it out. And you've got a good family if that's the case. But most of the people today can't be happy at home. I've actually heard people that live right here around me say I don't know what I'm going to do when I retire because I can't stay home. I just get so bored when I'm around the house. I have to leave. I have to go somewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what in the world is wrong with you? But guys, we live in such a world that is a rat race until that's the mentality and that's the fault of everybody. And it's sad. It's really sad that people spend 2/3 of their, or 1/3 of their income on a place, some of them 2/3 of their income, on somewhere to live, and they can't wait to get away from it. They're always wanting to go somewhere else. That is sad. Oh, I don't know if y'all can hear the wind in the camera or not, but it is blowing hard. I'm sitting here looking out the window and the trees are just bowed over. But you know, that's one thing that I love about being here in the cabin. We have this big, huge window. And nothing's finished by no means. We're maybe a quarter of the way there with everything. But I can look out this big window, even though it's not finished. It's dried in. And I can watch the wind blow. Even though it's from a little folding chair. And I can see the beauty of nature. I can watch the cows in the field. I can see the squirrels out there in the trees playing around. I can see my potatoes blowing back and forth in the wind. And won't be long, I'll be able to see the sugar cane bowing back and forth in the wind. And it's completely shaded. And, you know, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a place that I can find some sort of serenity. So that we can get, Wanda and I can get back to some sort of just simple life and be able to enjoy some of the things that we have before we leave this earth. Guys, I know that it's probably not been anything real educational today, but it's just been food for thought. You know, is there a such thing anymore as living a simple life? A lot of people try to do it off-grid. And you're looking at a guy right now that's got an off-grid cabin sitting here. And I am doing my best to try to figure out how to make this thing work in our climate with the heat and the humidity and the cold that's going to be. I'm trying to figure out lighting, natural lighting. I'm trying to figure out water catchment systems. I'm trying to figure out how I can put me a hand pump down out here. There's all these things I'm trying to figure out how to stay cool enough in the heat of the summer in this with the steep ceilings and the high walls, and you know, there's just lots of things I'm looking at. I'm looking into solar lighting so that I can use nature to light it at night. I'm trying to figure all these things out because I want to know the experience. I want to know the life that my forefathers lived. I want to know what it was like. I want to know what their hardships were. I want to know what their struggles were. But most of all, I want to know this serenity. I want to know what it's like to live in a building that has no electricity running through the walls from a power source, just to see if it makes a difference health-wise and how well we rest. If the Lord allows me to live to get this done, I want to be able to sleep here, and I want to know what it's like to live off-grid. When I was a kid, we were pretty much off-grid. It was hard because we had a solar minimum taking place whenever I was a child. It wasn't a grand solar, but it was a solar minimum. And it was very cold. It was hard to live through the winters then. It was difficult. No water, no refrigeration, none of that stuff. But we made it. But I was just a small kid. I only have pictures and vague memories. So I'm trying my best to recreate, because with the grand solar minimum coming, if my health allows and I'm allowed to live long enough, this thing's going to come in here full force if science is right. It's not man-made, it's cylindrical. The Earth just does this every 400 years or so. Guys, I want to be ready for it. I want to know that I can survive it. If the grid goes down, I want to already have this thing figured out. And I want to be able to share it with y'all. Over on Patreon, I'm doing that. I'm sharing things over on Patreon about this cabin, the build of this cabin, the way we built it, how we're putting it together, why we're doing what we're doing. All those things we're trying to put over on Patreon to help those people that's just interested in this lifestyle. And I know that I'm going to have my critics, you know, and I don't really care. It's going to say, oh, well, you're over on Patreon now, you're an e-beggar. No, well, call it what you want to call it, I don't care. We're trying to help people out who want to be helped. And people who are interested in this lifestyle is the ones that we're after. Because they're over there because they want to be there. And I appreciate each and every one of them. I really, really do. And plus we talk about some things over there about climate change and different things about climate over there, what we're going to be facing in these minimums. That is very interesting. I'm not trying to say I know everything, but when I get articles from people, whenever I get emails from people and stuff like that, from certain news broadcasters or from certain papers that's printed or literature from universities and stuff like that that they picked up, then I'm able to share it over there to people who are interested in hearing about what's really going on. And if you want to know, just go over there and check it out. But today, Porch Time, probably, like I mentioned a while ago, has not been that educational. But guys, it's about where has the simple life really gone? Is it possible to live that simple life anymore? I think it's possible. I really do. I'm going to be honest with you. I believe there's places that it can happen. I'm not sure it can happen here where I'm at because of people who live around me. But I'm sure there's places where people can buy something that's remote and or people have really good neighbors that are like-minded and they're able to, they're probably able to live that lifestyle. I know there's people who do it because I watch some channels of some people I know that do it. And we talk and communicate back and forth with different YouTubers that are living this lifestyle, that really enjoy their lifestyle. And I'm really excited for them that they're able to pull this off. And it's just a blessing. So guys, I'm fixing to get off of here. I've got to get back busy. But I wanted to take this time to just sit down and have this chat with you and tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for subbing to us. Share our videos. You know, I mean, I used to say that all the time. I used to say, like, share, and subscribe. You know, I don't do that anymore. I feel like if you really wanted to do it, you would do it. I shouldn't have to tell you to do it. If it's something that means something to you, then you will do it. But thank you guys for just being our subscribers. Thank you for including us in your life. It's very special for Wanda and I when y'all do that for us. We're not anyone special. We're just plain people like you are, and we just like living this lifestyle, and we like sharing it with y'all. And I'm hoping that through sharing it with you, that it will help you out also, and let you know a little bit about what it's like to live this lifestyle. And y'all notice I am actually sitting on the hearth of my fireplace here. We have it started. There's a video coming up on Patreon about the hearth and why we did it this way and the reasonings behind all of it. And if you want to see it, you can go over and check it out. But it is a blessing to have it started. It's not nowhere near finished. We're going into the hot summer months, so I don't know how long it will take us to actually get the rest of this here done. But we're going to work on it, guys. And we're going to try to get this off-grid cabin done. And we're going to try to show the build of it as much as possible. And let y'all live some of the experience with us. So thank you guys for watching me today. I know I'm not on the porch, but as soon as we can save up enough money to get the roof and the rafters put on the porch out here and the floor put on it, it's quite a bit of money, but when we get it saved up, my porch times will more than likely start being on the porch of the cabin. Now that could be way down the road. We may be still doing it in here and occasionally at the house if it's quiet enough. But if we can come up with enough money to get this done, then it will be a true porch time at the cabin. So that's what we're looking forward to. That's our goal, is to try to get that accomplished this summer sometime so that our porch times can just be over at the cabin. And guys, that is our dream. And thank y'all for helping make that a reality now. Okay, we'll leave this time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you from Deep South.